welcome to Beautiful Subconscious. I'm Shell Marie. So it is a treat to get back behind the mic today because I do my best to batch record some episodes and there has been a smidge of a hiatus. So today feels like fresh. It feels like, oh, I'm ready. And to have that dedicated space of this is what we're doing today, it feels really good. And especially for today's episode because it channeled through me and I'm like, yes. This is what I deeply resonate with. And if I resonate with it, then I know the people, like my clients that get called in or the people that are curious on the work that we do and the energy that I hold, there's a resonance to that as well. So when it gets channeled through, I'm like, this is what is supposed to be spoken of today. And I cannot wait. So it's all about the fear of being seen. And what are you really protecting? This for me is something I absolutely resonate with, and I didn't realize to the degree of how much I did, however. So before we unpack, we know every episode we unpack a card or we pull a card, and I did it prior to hitting record, and I was like, of course, this is the card. I unclip my wings and rise. This is the preface of this episode, especially when we are preparing ourselves to fully be seen in all that we are. So when that happens, no one tells you that when you are stepping into your most authentic self, that it's not only freeing, but it is terrifying. It is exposing. When you start to really drop that, like, I've got it all together vibe, and you're really allowing every part of you to be witnessed, it can be really like vulnerable. And sometimes that vulnerability means like danger. So how this kind of channeled through for me today, and you know, I often do kinesia like absolutely every week. I do kinesia swaps with my fellow kinesiologists because we need to, like, as if we're going to be a clear channel, we got to make sure we clear our own shit as well. And that's going to be an ongoing thing. And I love it. I love the epiphanies. I love the connections. I love the way it calms not only my nervous system, my body, the somatics, the way I feel, the way I connect to myself. And what gets revealed is so intriguing to me. And what's been showing up is like really stepping into that next version of my authentic self. And it's almost like I hit a pinnacle of like, all right, that's as far as I'll go. That's as far as I'll show. Until now I realize that I'm like, oh shit, what is this all about? Why do I fear really owning my authentic self? And it's like the next version of it. And right now, currently, this year for me, I turn 40. And so there's a lot of wrapping up chapters and really stepping into new beginnings and allowing myself to step in fully 2 feet into the next version of myself, which means I've got to take my foot out or the heel out, or how I've wedged open a little door of chapters and things that that are now ready to close. At hand, I'm going to be selling my house, my beautiful home. I'm ready to tie up, like actually sign on the dotted line of my divorce and my marriage, you know, and that's a real beautiful, vulnerable space because I am so proud of the relationship that my husband, ex-husband, the kid's dad and I have been able to create and cultivate. It is entirely unique. It is very genuine and respectful and love-based. It is a space that I'm very proud that my kids get to be around. Oh my God, I could get emotional on this. And now it's time. Like, you know, before I say it's just paper, like it's paperwork. We know where we stand and it's fine. But now it's time. It's just like that paperwork is that beautiful signing off of something that is quite extraordinary and letting it now step into the next thing for both of us. And he's in a beautiful relationship now, and it's great to see. And you know, I'm lucky in my life as well. And it's just time. It's just time. So with that, it's allowing myself to really be seen in who that is without even this story. The story of like the girl, like the kinesiologist who has got this conscious co-parenting relation or this conscious uncoupling. It's like, cool, all right, that's amazing. That's part of the story, but what else? What else? What's this next chapter look like? And so I guess that was probably for me to understand as well and offer some grace in and around. But if the facade that I kept, so I'll keep referring to myself but you know, if you connect to this too, incredible. And I deeply believe that so many do. I definitely know many of my clients do. And it is a real gracious space to be in because there's a facade that we all hold to keep us safe. And, you know, I've got a lot of male clients coming in now, the same thing. I've got, my beautiful female client, like everyone. We all hold this facade to keep us safe. And we know that that's not, huge news. But how that can show up is, we are showing up our socials a particular way. And, for me, I'll keep referring, like I said, like maybe like I make sure I look, somewhat put together as best as I can in a real sort of down to earth way. Not that was a conscious thought, in a real down to earth way. So I can be relatable as I get deep and as I get spiritual. I want to perhaps, look pretty, say. That feels so weird to say, but I want to look pretty, so maybe that will give me some grace in not being judged as much. And, that can show up in how we are in our everyday world. Like we do the smile at school pickups. We are nodding in the meetings at work. We are getting shit done. We're that capable one. But really deep down, what's playing out, it can feel like I'm struggling, or I'm screaming inside, or I'm feeling quite lonely, that's the thing, right? When you are not owning every part of who you are, it can feel quite lonely. And that part that is abandoned shows up in that sense of loneliness. And you might not consciously make that connection, but then when that happens, that loneliness feels like a void, and that void you may default into filling with your usual senses of numbing, which could be alcohol, which could be going out, which could be numbing on scrolling, social media, Netflixing and chilling. All those things to kind of just numb the void. But what's that void really showing? It could be a plethora of so many different things. And in this regard, tying back to the fear of being seen. But very often, I'm digressing here, but how often do we think like, hey, I'm scrolling on social media to numb, just to get a little breather? It's because of the fear of being seen. Like you don't have that train of thought often until you hold space for yourself and then you start to unpack. So we can feel like we own, say, our competence is like, girl that gets it done, she's unstoppable, as like a cloak, because being messy can feel vulnerable, and that chaos and that not enoughness, when it spikes, like we don't know how to handle it. We don't want to try to figure it out in a messy sort of way because that's not what we had trained ourselves to do. And so we refer to our protective strategies. So let's ground in some truth. Like what we found is, according to the American Psychological Association, nearly 70%. Let me get that. I'm going to say that part again. If we could just edit that part and add this in. So let's ground in some truth. Did some research, and according to the American Psychological Association, nearly 75% of women regularly hide their emotions just to appear competent, in control, or, in inverted commas, not too much. That is 75% of women. So if you ever found yourself like holding back your tears or like laughing through anxiety, like I often do, or you're downplaying your stress, I can do that absolutely too. You are not alone. It doesn't mean that you're broken. It doesn't mean that it's a personality flaw. It's just a survival mechanism. And your subconscious doesn't necessarily want to prioritize authenticity. It wants to prioritize predictability. That is what our beautiful subconscious wants to do. Hello, lovely listeners. Our Total Life Transformation Program is live. If you feel stuck in your health, career, relationships, or money, this is the chance for a complete revamp. Over 6 months, you'll experience powerful changes that will transform every part of your life. With the guidance of 5 specialists, so yours truly, a kinesiologist, money mentor, functional health practitioner, career advisor, and our relationship coach, we address 4 key life pillars: your health, your career, your money, and your relationships. One investment shifts you from feeling low-key unfulfilled to fully energized and inspired in every area of your life. Health. If stress, emotional baggage, or unhealthy habits drain you, we will help release what's in your subconscious and create a personalized nutrition and supplement plan to reset your energy and health. Career. If you feel lost or stuck in your career, our kinesiologist and career mentor provide clarity, confidence, and an action plan to move forward with purpose. Money. If scarcity or fear around money keeps you stuck, we heal your financial blueprint. With our money mentor, you will gain practical strategies to confidently manage your finances for life. And relationships. If disconnection in your relationships leave you feeling unseen, we heal emotional wounds, leading to deeper connection, trust, and love. Now it's time to create your extraordinary life. So book your clarity call now for our Total Life Transformation Program, because it is live and waiting for you. So from a nervous system perspective, being emotionally seen can feel like a threat. So then you activate your coping and defense mechanisms so it can harmonize or protect yourself from that threat. So especially if something was imprinted in at your early stages of life that, showing your emotions is a weakness, or being soft isn't how you felt safe, then you've created some coping strategies to not allow yourself to drop into that softness, or you've tried to outrun your emotions with logic, intellect, and achievement. Same from a soul perspective. This might be your lifetime right now where you reclaim your truth. Your soul, our soul, did not come here to be perfect. It came here to be whole. That is including every part of who you are. This morning I had an epiphany where I had felt judged. So this is all my story, right? This is all my story. So I'm going to give you from my perspective of how it kind of played out. I felt judged for a perception that let me word that better. There was a perception I had that someone was judging me for a part of myself from the past. Now, what was said and how, it actually was not intended that way, but every part of my back kind of stood up and I was like, what is that? And then this phone call, I couldn't finish it at that time. So I was left with this real unfinished experience. And I'm like, what is this really about? So there was a part, so how it kind of played out was I was sharing this part of I love every part of my journey. Before, yes, I was known to be more of a party girl. I used to escape in every which way of the meaning, whether it's through drugs, whether it's through alcohol, whether it's through partying, whether it's through physically moving myself into other areas. And if that got too settled, then I'd go to somewhere else and just find that wherever I landed for too long, it would create this sense of, I'm with myself, I've got to shift that up. And so I'm very comfortable with that narrative and that perspective I've given on the past. But bottom line is, it just is. Whatever it is, it just was. And so that's okay. It's moving forward, where are we at and what are we taking from it to really become and be seen as the person that we desire to be. So this conversation, it was coming from a real loving space, and it was said that, if, that part, it felt like there was a judgment that part of me back then wasn't as valuable. The narrative that I drew up in my own head for that, the story that, and the reaction that I drew up. And so I was left with this conversation that was unfinished. And I was like, why am I triggered? Why am I irked by this? And it was the most profound thing, because what it showed me was a part of me, and it took a real long process and a long journey to really accept every part of my journey. I would shine up another part. I would sugarcoat another part. But now the version of me as I stand today really maternally loves every step that I've taken in every part of my journey. And so this encounter was actually a really beautiful experience because I got to consciously really connect to that awareness of I loved that party girl of me. She did the best that she could. She was fun. She was happy. There was parts that she really didn't like herself and she really just needed that love for herself, and the way that she treated herself and the distraction that she had, like that's pain under there. And so the maternal part of me now, instead of what would once be rejected, or the approach would be to reject, like, oh, she doesn't have a place at this table, like, be quiet, shut up. She's like now being included, and she's sitting here, and I've got the maternal part of me hugging on every part of who I am. And I didn't actually realize that that's what had taken place, or what now takes place. And that to me is such growth and self-devotion. And I'm incredibly proud of that. So I'm loving that that's the realization that I had today. And I guess bringing it back in, this might be your journey too of this lifetime. Like I dare say, if you're listening to it, it's a heck yes, it is. It's a lifetime to come back to this truth of every part of who you are needs to now be supported and needs to now be loved. And this is why I love kinesiology, because we can get into what your body is pushing away, what it's rejecting, what it's discriminating, judging, and you get to learn to cultivate a new relationship and repair the relationship that you have with all those parts of you. And you get to, in time, love and protect and honor and respect every part of you of equal value. And that to me is what is living authentically and what it means to be truly seen, because you're choosing to see every part of who you are. You're not tired from life. You're just tired from the armor that you hold. And you're tired from managing the perceptions of the people around you about you. We want to do it out of protection. We want to make sure that we'll feel safe. But when you do that, that smile is really hiding a suppressed scream that's just like, but what about me? There's this part of you that's ready to deeply breathe, and there's parts of you that are ready for real connected, deeply connected relationships, because there might be awareness that if you look around, are your relationships really deep? And you might not want that, and that's okay. Are they surface level? Could you come to many people with like any part of who you are? And I can hand on heart say I've got more than a handful of people that I know I can be like, this is what's going on and this is how I feel. And I know I would be held, and I love that I have that in my life. I feel deeply, deeply grateful and blessed. So when you're hiding and not allowing yourself to fully be seen, you're going to feel like your purpose is being blocked. You're going to feel like this curated version of you is blocking like a real soul-led, intuitive expression of you. And it's going to feel like joy feels unsafe because there's a part of you that still feels unsafe. You're going to feel like there's parts of you that are failing because you're failing to see or choosing to see every part of who you are. So if you are curious on how to reframe the visibility and seeing yourself, here's what I find really helps is visibility isn't a performance. It's permission. And you don't have to share every part of who you are, and you don't have to share everything to be real. You just have to stop abandoning the parts of you that crave freedom. And in this space, if you're able to like really connect in, if you're in the position to do so, can you visualize dropping the mask one piece at a time? And instead of the judgment, can you meet it with love? Because that is the kind of life that you're calling in. And that's the kind of life that you deserve to see. And that's the kind of life that won't tire you, but inspire you. So say it with me. It is safe to be seen. It is safe to be soft. It is safe to be real. It is safe to be all that you are, every part of you. So if you're ready to have a look at the parts of you that you may fear, I completely understand. And just know you will be deeply held in the spaces of the work that we do together. So how do we work together? If you're getting a call for this, we can work with one-to-one kinesiology sessions. We have programs that can be customized and curated for you across multiple sessions, across 2 months, 3 months. We have got the most ultimate signature program, our 6-month program, that it's not just me that you get to work with, where we deeply dive into your subconscious realm with where all of this hides, where all of this originates from, and start to unpluck and start to connect and rewrite. But also you'll have 4 other incredible women, geniuses in their own field of health, that you will get to be coached, and you'll have a protocol completely designed for you and your current body and your goals and where you're at, the supplements to support the exercise, nutrition, the guidance, as well as me supporting your subconscious and for you to be able to absorb those nutrients and for you to let go of the masks of your connection with your body. And so it's this 2-pronged approach of energetics and the science and action. We have the same with our career. We have our incredible career advisor. So if you're stuck and feeling like you have subscribed to the societal programming of like, this is like the route of 9 to 5s till I'm 65 and, retire at the end. If you're ready to add on something to make life more fulfilling every day professionally, then this program is for you. We've got our relationship coach who will guide on conscious communication and holding your boundaries and leading with love and coming together, as well as your money. Like, what's your relationship with your money, your livelihood, all of it. It's yummy as F. So these are the ways that we can work together, as well as if you're wanting to leave your birthbase and you're wanting to learn these skills, I'm teaching these most potent techniques that you get to draw upon every day of your life, not just for you, but your loved ones as well. So this is the way that we can work together. Your body knows. Your body is ready to show you what needs to be seen, what's ready to be seen, so you can ultimately liberate yourself from the limits and liberate yourself in showing who you truly are. You are so worthy. So if this episode resonates with you, please like it. Please share it. Kind of got like all beautiful and yummy and soft at the end there. And if that landed, awesome. Leave a review. I'd love to hear how, and hopefully if this has helped, because connection is key and this is what it's all about. So thank you for your ears. Thank you for your time. And until next week, live life liberated.